another year. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? Please, if you don't mind. Ere sin could blight or sorrow fade, death came with friendly care. The opening bud to heaven conveyed, and how nice of you to join us. That's not part of the poem. And bade it blossom there. Anyone? A little more early morning reticence than usual. Mr. Coleridge. Please. Mr. Coleridge, how many students would you say we have here today?
I'm not sure.
Perhaps you could humor us with a guess.
30?
30. Well, of that 30, there isn't one person here who knows the author of that passage. I find that remarkable. Don't you, Mr. Coleridge? Perhaps we should back into this. Mr. Coleridge, in looking at this, what, if any, conclusions might we be able to draw?
You mean about the author?
About anything. Do any of the words strike you as unusual? Mr. Coleridge, feel free to view this as the appropriate time for a response.
Air.
Air. And why is that unusual?
Because it sounds old.
It does sound old, doesn't it? And you know why it sounds old, Mr. Coleridge? It's because it is old, more than 200 years old, written before you were born, before your father was born, before your father's father was born. But that still does not excuse the fact that you don't know who wrote it. Now, does it, Mr. Coleridge?
I'm sorry, sir, I don't...
You, of all people in this room, should know who wrote that passage. And do you know why, Mr. Coleridge? I repeat, do you know why?
Just say your name, man.
Excuse me, did you have something to contribute, Mr. Wallace?
I just said that he should say his name.
And why would it be helpful for Mr. Coleridge here to say his name?
Because that's who wrote it.
Very good, Mr. Wallace. Perhaps your skills do extend a bit farther than basketball. Now, if we can turn to... You may be seated, Mr. Coleridge. Turn to page 120 in the little blue book that I'm certain...
Further.
I'm sorry?
You said my skills extend farther than the basketball court. Farther relates to distance. Further is a definition of degree. You should have said further.
Are you challenging me, Mr. Wallace?
Not any more than you challenged Coleridge.
Well, perhaps the challenge should have been directed elsewhere. It is a melancholy truth that even
great men have poor relations. Dickens.
You will hear the beat of a horse's
Kipling.
feet. All great truths begin...
Shaw.
Man is the only animal
that blushes. Or needs to. It's Mark Twain. Come on, Professor Crawford.
Get out. Get out.
Yeah, I'll get out.